Hello and welcome to the annual general meeting of Baldwin. I would like to thank our new executives for being present at our annual meeting. And for going forward, today I will be addressing our performance in our final year as executives. Our HR specialist, Kieran, will be speaking on our overall years operating the company. Sarah, our Chief Financial Officer, will discuss key strategies. Cindy, the Marketing and Sales Director, will discuss key objectives. Ezgi, the VP Research and Development, will speak on our performance, and Kieran will conclude with some improvements throughout the term as Baldwin executives. From 2024 till now, we have been able to greatly improve the financial health of the firm. There was a marginal increase of 0.31% in our market share, falling short of our expected potential, indicating that we should have purchased more capacity in 2024 rather than selling. In turn, this year we made it the decision to purchase production capacity to keep up with market demand. Our research and development department made it their prime duty to develop products to create the highest demand in three main segments: the traditional, low-end, and high-end segments. The marketing executives were meticulous when determining the price for all products. Conducting market research, thus, our strategic pricing was able to grant us contribution margins on average above 35%. In the past year, we have allocated $15.4 million in increasing our accessibility for customers. Due to our high volume of expenditure, our customer accessibility and awareness efforts, our market potential increased exponentially. In the coming years, we will expect to be able to capitalize on that potential with more production capacity. This year, our production efforts failed to meet our expected demand in all segments. Thus, we invested in 100,000 units of capacity for 5 products, anticipating further demand of these products. We also allocated funds to increase the automation of our products to ensure labor costs for the future executives is to a minimum. The HR department arranged for 80 hours of training for employees to ensure our overall productivity is optimal. The financial standing of the firm is strong, and we can endure more expenditure towards expansion. We are able to pay our stockholders dividends totaling $5.6 million, as we mentioned in our annual meeting in 2019. Due to our financial positioning, we were able to retire $15 million from our accumulated long-term debt, and the decisions that were made at the end of 2024 were able to result in optimal financial positioning and has great potential to obtain more market share. I would like to now introduce Kieran to briefly analyze the health and decisions of Baldwin over the past 8 years.
During our first 2 years, we invested heavily in R&D and conducted extensive market research to release a new product in our high-end segment. In year 3, we had an internal issue that resulted in a lack of production and were faced with challenges in all segments, specifically for our new product, Bell. In years 4 to 5, we tried to improve the state of our company by producing more in our high and low-end segments where our products were optimal. Years 6 to 7 were our best years. We had the highest incremental growth, with our market share increasing from 11.62% to 13.69%. Year 7 was our prime year where we were able to meet our expected demand as well as make a profit. In year 8, we were unable to expect our demand and fell short in terms of production. However, we counteracted that by investing in automation. Next, we have Sarah, who will be speaking about our strategy.
We had a unique strategy that combined elements from broad differentiator and cost leader with product lifestyle focus. We maintained a presence in every segment while allowing our products in the traditional and high-end segments to drift. Additionally, we kept production and material costs to a minimum, enabling us to compete on the basis of price as much as possible. Having the lifestyle focus allowed us to reap sales for many years on each new product introduced in the high-end segment. Products began their lives in high-end, matured into traditional, and finished as a low-end product. We entered Bell and Babe into high-end to allow bid to drift into the traditional market. We made sure to cut our costs wherever possible by heavily investing in TQM to obtain optimal reductions in the long run, as well as invest into automation as our high-end would soon become low-end. Having our products keep pace and with the market, offering improved size and performance. However, after our internal issue in 2020, this element of our strategy had to be tweaked. We simply could not afford to have optimal products in all segments. We wanted to stay true to our strategy of being in all segments, but decided to compromise for something more realistic in size and performance segments. Some tips for our new executives who will be continuing in our business is to let Bell drift into the traditional and to introduce a new product into high end, to continue with our lifestyle focus. Clearly, it is critical to keep strategy as a base of all your decisions that you make. I would now like to introduce my colleague Cindy, who will be going over our objectives.
Since the initial launch of our sensors, Baldwin's plan was to have a presence in all segments. This was a strategy that maintained throughout our 8-year successes. Due to our business strategy of broad cost leader with a focus on product lifecycle, our company has had an emphasis on growth in terms of maintaining our current products while anticipating the launch of more products. We established that we would be launching 2 new sensors in the high-end segment. This was done to ensure that our products were new and innovative to a demanding audience. Our research and development efforts towards our sensor bid were to a minimum in hopes that this product would transfer into the traditional segment. We were able to hit optimum levels of demand in 2023 for bid in the traditional segment. Some of the company's objectives were impeded by the company's miscalculations. We were not able to meet the anticipation of each year's increasing demand in terms of product supply. Our inaccuracy was also seen as a glass half full success. Unable to constantly meet demand on our sensor means that we were able to stock out and at the end of the year reduce our inventory carrying costs. And now I'd like to introduce Ezgi, who will provide an analysis of our company's overall performance.
Thank you for the introduction. Over the past 8 years at Baldwin Sensors, we mainly saw a steady increase in sales. We did have a slight mishap in 2020 due to an internal issue, which had a negative effect on our sales numbers for a few years until 2023, when they started increasing again. We saw around $109 million in sales in our first year, which we were able to almost double to around $197 million in our 8th year. Keeping in line with our strategy, we had at least 1 product in each segment. After our setback, we focused heavily on R&D in the following years to bring our products closer to customer demands. This has allowed us to maintain a strong product line with 7 products, especially in the last few years. We introduced 2 new products, both in the high-end segment. We met some opposition in this segment from Digby and Chester with their products Dixie and Cat. Our industry by nature was very oligopolistic, which created a lot of competition between the few companies in the industry. Our overall contribution margin also increased for the most part over our 8 years. We were observing a trend of rising contribution margin in our first 2 contracted years until we had the internal issue. As mentioned before, it took a couple of years to recover from this hit, but by the year 2023, our contribution margin started to rise again until 2025. I would now like to introduce Kieran, who will be speaking about improvements we made.
After our internal issue in year 3, we were able to come together and conduct additional research in terms of where we were lacking, and this in turn helped us make stronger decisions to benefit our company. We were able to work through our challenges to strengthen our position in the market and recognize this setback as an opportunity to challenge ourselves to become a stronger team. By maintaining our organizational structure of functional responsibilities, we've been able to ensure that our decisions for each year have been in line with our team mission. I also want to acknowledge the new executives that are here with us today. We're leaving you with a company that has a BBB bond rating, $25 million in cash, and a well-positioned product line. This is the legacy we're leaving you after 8 years of running this company. Some tips that we have for the new executives are to continue to follow our business strategy, as Sarah mentioned, and mature our products Bell and Babe into the traditional segments by 2027 or 2028, as well as to continue to invest in production capacity to grow the company. Thank you for attending Baldwin's annual general meeting. We will proceed with our live award ceremony.